Hello again from hello again from Normandy, and this is the second part of my film. We're looking at solutions for chicks in cold weather. Okay, this is a fanciful one. I've knitted them some balaclavas or snoods. Oh, yours isn't on properly. Okay, matching with my own. Okay, this is a fun solution, but we all need a good laugh. And we're now going to look at some serious solutions. Some are long term, so ones you have to plan in advance for the winter in case you're going to have baby chicks. And others are short term, quick solutions that you can make for your chicks if you've got hatches late in the year. One of the first short-term solutions that I instigated, and that was a couple of years back when I had some chicks born in the winter, was to stagger the feeding in the morning so that the chicks were put out for breakfast before anybody else was around, and they got plenty of food that way. Now that the chickens are becoming ever more like jungle fowls, so I've got more roosting up in the trees overnight. That's not really a possibility, as there are a lot of hens already out in the morning before I've even opened the coops up. So I've now got feeding stations where they can go in. They know where they are, they're very quick to learn where these are. And I've got little wired off tiny coops where they can go in, and then once they're in there, I go and fetch them some food, so they know to go into them. Then I have sort of little secretive places where I put greenery and other things which the chicks know about, and then they can go there and eat them during the day. For the long-term solutions, the feeding is done in glass houses and greenhouses. And these are greenhouses we've designed and made ourselves, all from recuperated material. Cheapest one cost us €5, £5, and it's made out of a wooden frame, which is pallet wood, and then there are wired sides, quite heavy duty chicken wire, and we recuperated that from the dump. And we actually did buy the polythene. It was just the cheapest we could get at the time. But I know of people who've done this, who've copied this design from us, and they've actually gone to mattress shops and got the big sheets of polythene that the mattresses have been folded into and got them out of the skips there. So there's a way of making these actually for free. Later on, we did put heavy duty horticultural grade polythene, because you do get a problem eventually with sunlight. You do get degradation, and so we did get a UV stable polythene. The glass greenhouse is made from old windows which were recuperated from a local firm. They are putting in lots of PVC windows, so they had loads of really, really good quality windows, some of which we put in our house, but the others we made into this huge glass greenhouse. And that was particularly good in the winter, both for the hen chicks and for the quail as well. And they do a brilliant job in there, because you do get a lot of overwintering aphids and other pests in the leaf litter within the greenhouse, so they clear all that up in the winter as well, so that's brilliant. So it's a symbiosis. We've got several films on different sorts of greenhouses. I'll put the links at the bottom. These are on our other channel, showing you exactly how to build these greenhouses if you're interested. Another long-term solution from the point of view of shelter and safety in the garden, because as you lose leaves, you're going to attract overhead predators. We've got huge families of buzzards and all kinds of different birds of prey around here. So my long-term solution was to plant a whole load of evergreens in the forest garden, so that in the winter we still had a really good cover. Lots of bushes, evergreen bushes. Bamboo, of course, is brilliant in that case as well. And then I've got passion flowers, climbers, which if you grow them from seed, even in a cold climate like this, they will retain their leaves in the winter. So you've got lots and lots of options for evergreens. The other thing is, as I've already mentioned, with the return to the jungle fowl of these chickens, the environment they live in and the way they've reverted to a lot of their wild instincts, they do go up trees to roost. Now that's okay in the summer, because when the mother decides they're big enough, they don't need to be under her anymore, she'll start to go up the trees. She'll show them how to go up the trees, and that's brilliant. But in the winter, she will often go up before they're ready, and in particular because a lot of them perch in this bay tree, and the bay tree has very smooth bark, and in the rain it's really difficult for the chicks to get up. They do try, but I get them down in the winter if they go up with the mother, because it's just too dangerous. We have some very bad gales in the winter evenings with the wind that comes from the sea. It's okay for adults to hang on up there, but not chicks. So my solutions have been either to get the mother back down and put them in a little coop, or if the mother really wants to stay up there and there's a real problem, she no longer wants them under her, I've got this brilliant cockerel, as you've perhaps seen him before, Spike, and he will actually look after them. So I've got a brood of 5 now who are under Spike at night. They eat with him in the morning, they go back to him at night, but during the day, when the mothers come down from the tree in the morning, they go naturally back to her. So it's a sort of babysitting thing, which I have going on with the co-parenting thing in the summer, if you remember. And also I've had in the winter with a coaching, and she would take care of a particularly large group of chicks with a mother, and there were a couple of them that were frizzled and they would trail behind the rest, and she naturally, and I don't know how she did it, but she naturally cottoned onto this group, and she took on, I think it was 2 or 3 of these chicks. These things happen by accident. They don't always have to be planned. Spike wasn't particularly planned. The other thing about roosting is that you can prepare them for roosting by helping the mother to train them to roost by using a tiny little perch on well, in this case, an orange box, and they can be trained that way, and then they'll go on the perch in the hen house with the mother more quickly, and then you won't be left with a lot of little chicks on the ground. So that's a solution too. What we've got here, it's a bit difficult to see. See if I can light them with my headlamp. There are 3 of Snowies that are actually I don't know if you remember in the original, the first part of this film we were talking about how some of the chicks were in one single hatch turned out much bigger. In fact, these are about 3 or 4 times bigger than the others. And as they grow up, obviously the larger ones are able to perch a lot quicker than the smaller ones who still want to be under the mother. Also, the others are frizzled. So I've got 3 up on the perch with some of the larger ones. They're still with their mother. She's the cuckoo. She's still with those 3, so that's all right. What we've got here are the 3 smaller ones. I talked about the frizzles. And then I've got 2 more who belong to Chickles, the twins, who are in the hats. But Chickles goes up the tree at night. Obviously they're too small. One's already tried to go up the tree, but it's not very happy, and I wouldn't want to separate them. So we've got them, and they're being looked after by Snowy. So another solution. Always keep looking for these solutions with your hens, because if your hens have reverted like mine have to a semi-wild state, they're going to have all those great sharing and thinking about chicks and the idea of continuance of the flock already inside their heads, and it often comes out in this sort of expression that they will look after other hens' chicks. No problem at all. In fact, the twins, one of the twins is right near to her there, and she's making no difference between the twins and her own babies. And what is interesting to note from the point of view of vertebrate protein and birds is that even birds who, when they're adult, will be omnivores, will feed their chicks a totally proteinaceous diet made of wild protein when they are in the first stages of life. So it's a crucial element. No, we're not getting much oil. Normally I'd be digging with a big fork, but it's a bit difficult manoeuvring this camera and a fork at the same time. But this is the answer to some of your questions, which is why are my mother hens, my broodies, are my chicks so tame? Well, because I'm feeding them. And as I say, don't break the bond with your mother. Don't make it that you are the important person in the chick's life. You're just a machine here digging. Later on, you can start to form a bond with your chicks. I mean, you can do it now, you can stroke them, but just don't try and take anything away from the mother. How are we doing here, Mummy? We're not doing much, are we? We found one worm yet. Bet you'll find one. We've just had rainstorm after rainstorm. As you can see, the soil is very wet because it's clay, so there we go. I'm going to run off with the worm. And they're very vulnerable when they run off because they've got something. Here's another mummy, a single mummy, coming with her single chick. There, got another worm, hooray. Off they go. So we're all finding things at the moment. If you've got a first-time mother or a mother that has not had the chicks for very long, this might not work as well because she wants to do everything. But usually by this stage, when they've got this big, the initial joy of motherhood or chickhood can be wearing a bit thin because it's a lot of work to do this, to look after all these chicks for a mother hen, particularly this time of year. So they're going to be very glad that you helped. And it forms a bond with the chicks, with you, the start of the bond, and it forms a bond, or it enhances the bond you already have with your mother hen. So I hope you've enjoyed this film, and it's given you some ideas as to what you can do if you have a late hatch of chicks, or if you have quail, because a lot of these solutions will work for your quail as well.